the entire village of Spear Tip was destroyed by a lava dragon that attacked in the past. Which, by the way, Arch, since you know all this information, that all the stuff that happened in the past, I want you to roll a d20 for me, and it's going to be a wisdom check. So that's a 14. Okay, so basically, Arch, because you rolled a 14, you're able to discern that the lava dragon that you viewed in the past looks oddly similar to the semi-mechanical fire dragon that you came in contact with at Dragonsteel Quarry after you killed General Vorgel.
Just saying, that guy was a bitch.
I'm gonna let these jackasses know that the flappy flap that's up over the mountains is the one that fucking nearly nuked them.
If I remember correctly, Kane is still playing poker with the group of skeletons. Syra, I don't know what you're up to, and Draylark, you can choose what you want to be doing at this moment, but Cham and Raka their characters have just returned from being to the south, and Syra has already relayed the information to Kermit and Draylark about what just happened, where they got taken to the past and all those shenanigans.
Just walk out. This is like watching them fucking approach. Welcome back, weary travelers.
I have returned.
Oh, you're still on that. Alright.
He's trying to talk like a samurai.
Why, though?
Because you do not know what has happened.
Yes, we do. I remember you shoved my hand in the bag. I know the whole thing, thank you.
Hey, speaking of hand in bag, here is your hand from my bag. And I'm gonna give her back her hand.
Okay, you give Syra back her tarantula hand. It just sort of like crawls out of the bag and like jumps on her body. I'm assuming you want that reattached.
Yeah, just like fucking twists back on, the bones snap into place.
So your hand reattaches. Also, because you rolled a 14, you also remember that Cham and Raka also went by a fairly large and extensive series of fountains that were located in the middle of the city.
I'm 100% certain that if any kind of expensive was in any description, that one or both of the idiots would have pilfered it.
Well, the only thing that you're aware that they stole was the penises off the statues, which Raka is currently wearing a necklace made out of.
Why do I hang out with you fucking freaks? Alright, so what's the deal here? Are you finally done with your bullshit? Can we get a move on with this whole adventure thing so I can never talk to you again?
Do you guys want a piece of the forbidden necklace? The dick necklace.
So you guys have you've relayed all your messages to each other, and you did take those 2 points away. Was that the dragon did look very familiar to the one that you saw before, minus the mechanical bits, and that there was a large fountain display in the middle of the city. In other words, a large supply of water.
But this was in the past. We'd have to find those fountains now.
This is in the past, yes, but based on what they also were able to relay to you, you know where the library was, and you were able to see the layout of the city, so you could estimate where it would be if you wanted to roll for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is it just intelligence?
Yeah, I would say intelligence, because that's kind of deductive ability. You can gauge kind of the general area of where it might be, but you're probably not going to be able to pinpoint the individual fountain locations. You might have to do a little bit of, I guess, probing.
Can I, assign the skeleton army, the rough general location and have them start scouting out?
They are extensions of your mind, so as long as you know where they're going, then they will know where they're going. You're able to instruct them about that, and they begin to take their marching orders. So if I remember correctly, you have 45 skeletons?
Yeah.
So the 45 skeletons take their money from the pickup game, and they which also pisses Kane off. So then they wind up packing all their things and marching south back to Broken Spear. So they're going to go and start excavating. So I don't know what you want to do in this scenario. Do you want to go back and talk to the leader? Do you want to accompany the skeletons? Do you want to do anything else?
I'm going to walk over to the fucking dink-ass frog. Listen, now that your fucking vacation is complete, we need to find water, and while you were in that whatever Fantasyland nonsense that you were doing, there was
the past.
Could you do me a real favor and just not talk? That would be lovely.
I see that my voice is not to your liking.
I do hope you die first. just between us.
I think that's
Oh,
pretty
God.
fucked up. I'm just over here trying to get on through all the past bullshit that we all gone through and shit. I come over there, give my best friend a nice, good old necklace full of dicks, and he's all there like, man, fuck you, I ain't gonna wear that shit. Man, fine, fuck it, I'm just gonna go over here, I'm gonna go back to the fucking camp, and I have this fucking necromancer motherfucker over here, just bitching and complaining that, oh, my fucking voice is all irritated. What the fuck do you want from me, huh?
Cyrus stares at you for a minute. Just silence.
Everybody in the general area just kind of looks at you after the rant. They're just like, "What the fuck?"
I will just continue listening then.
All right then, Lord. So the deal is that we need to find water, and you found quite a lot of expensive fountains, and instead of marking their locations, you stole penises, which, quite frankly, I'm not surprised whatsoever.
I'm gonna point towards fucking Uhtred.
Still wearing the penis.
dicks around his neck.
Fantastic. That's wonderful for you. We need to find those fountains for these assholes that you brought back to the camp. Are we not clear on what's happening here? That we need to find the water for those idiots who are currently
Fuck it,
at the oasis?
I'm gonna roll a
If you're trying to remember something, it's drawing from past experiences, so I would say roll wisdom. Cham, your character doesn't remember any fountains, only statues with penises. I guess technically I could also have Raka do that as well if you wanted me to, because he was there. Raka, on the other hand, is able to point out, again, roughly the general area in which they're in, but he is able to point it out a little bit better than Arch because he did roll 2 points higher technically. You narrow the search area a little bit, which you then relay to the skeletons who are still on their way.
Fantastic, and they can use each other to dig holes or whatever is required.
Well, they do have rusty swords as well, and they're skeletons. They don't really have to worry about digging with their hands too much.
See, but the thing is, I prefer them to use each other because otherwise it fosters a sense of individuality and the idea that I require them, which is not true. So
I like where this is going.
I'm not going to waste a spell slot on you. I'm not going to. No matter how hard you try, I want
This
to.
is pretty fucked up.
And she
All
turns around and walks away. Is there
Okay.
anything else to do?
Alright, fuck it. Sarah, let's get the fuck out of here. We're gonna go in this location. Let's go, get up! I'm gonna get on Ariel and start flying towards the direction.
All right, well, I mean, the skeletons are already on their way there, so they're going to excavate. So are you just going to go there and help them?
I'm gonna be that asshole NCO that just stands in the back and just delegate like, yeah, right here, motherfucker.
Okay, if you want to go do that, that's fine. So Syra and Draylark, what are you guys going to do while he's supervising the digging of the water?
I'm gonna dig with them.
All right, so you're going to go with Cham, and you're also going to dig everything up. Arch, are you going with them as well, or are you going to...
I'm going to go tell the horse man, the nasty animal fucker that they brought back, that we found water and we're working on getting it dug up so that they can survive out here. I didn't
Okay.
mean you this time. Isn't that strange?
Veldos is going to hop on his baby Terras, Whopper Jr., and he's going to follow along with the skeletons as Cham flies overhead on his pet. Now, Syra is going to go back and talk to Habibi, who is in his tent. So I'll do you first, and then we'll go to you other guys after I'm done with Arch here. So Arch, you walk in, and Habibi invites you forward, thinking that she's assuming that you have something to say about their agreement.
Hello, darling. So a bit of an update. Our idiots are back, and they are currently employed, self-employed, I might add, in finding a selection of water for you and your troops so that we may sustain you here.
Very good. Very good. Do you know where some is yet?
The other two idiots, the one with the tentacles and the mouthier frog who's retarded, that one, not the one who gambles, the retarded one. They're out there digging with the bone soldiers to find the water that we're going after.
Very good. Very good. Well, if that is the case, since when they come back they will have word of where to find this water, I will exchange with you the information I promised.
Fantastic. I'd love to hear it.
Long ago, there was legend of a dragon, similar to the one that is flying up and down the northern border, burning everything in sight to a crisp.
Fun fact, it's the same one. So there you go. Little information for you.
But do you know how the dragon came to be mechanical and how it was defeated?
Oh, if that's what you're going to tell me, that's absolutely wonderful.
You see, this was a very long time ago, but basically what happened was this dragon was running amok. As you say, you already know of that. But what wound up happening was the dwarves and the gnomes came together and decided to defeat the dragon. They were successful with their superior might in engineering, but then the gnomes had a very, very naughty thought. What if we could fix the dragon and maybe control it? So they proceeded to build up the parts that they had destroyed when they originally felled the beasts, and were able to bring it back to life. Unfortunately, it then proceeded to burn many of them to death and kill a lot of people because they didn't realize that, the dragon would come back with free will and a vengeful anger. So what wound up happening was the only way they could think of to actually defeat the dragon was to kill a rust monster and use its essence to infuse into an arrowhead that would dissolve the mechanical parts of the beast. That is exactly what they were able to do, and when the beast was hit with the arrow, its mechanical parts disintegrated. It then fell in the Dragonsteel quarry, where the dwarves proceeded to pour molten metal all over it and turn it into a massive tool.
All right, so that does explain quite a bit, and why... No, I'm not going to ask why the dwarves and the gnomes are retarded. I think we already know about that.
Look, let me ask you this. Have you ever met a gnome that wasn't completely fucking insane?
No, you're absolutely correct. This is correct. They are unstable midgets, much like many of the other friends that we have here.
And the dwarves just thought it would be fun to control a dragon. Ancient dwarves and gnomes, not they're great people. But now, much more docile, much more helpful, a lot less drunk. Regardless, that is how the dragon came to be. And, reputedly, if that arrow was stuck in the dragon when it was buried alive, there's a chance it might still be there.
How does that help? What I'm saying is what you've just said is that there's an arrow in the still active dragon that could help us.
What I mean is there may be an arrow inside Dragonsteel Quarry.
Oh, all right, you sly devil. I suppose you're correct. I'll see that you're dutifully rewarded. I do have a selection of, well, I'd call them undead prostitutes, but,
I didn't have one of those before. It sounds cold and clammy.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's exactly that. It's like fucking a fish.
I don't know. I have bedded many mermaids.
It's a lot like a mermaid, but instead of scales, you have maggots.
Ah, sounds tingly. Fair enough.
Ira just gives him a happy little wave and wanders off.
Alright, so I'm assuming you're going to eventually try and catch up with those guys?
I don't want to, but yes.
Alright, well, Raka is also going to come with you along with Kermit, so you guys disembark. Now I'm going to go to the other two guys who arrive with the skeleton crew to start the excavation process. Do either of you two have anything that actually, any magical abilities like move earth or anything of that nature?
Let me take a look.
I have big fuck you testicles. Move earth.
I mean, you could use the armor to turn yourself into a giant shovel. I'd allow it.
Do it.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
If he turned himself into a giant shovel, you could hypothetically use the skeletons to create a giant skeleton to use the shovel.
I was just thinking that.
You can do that at will using your gauntlet, and again, you're aware of everything that's going on with the skeletons, so it's not like there's anything there. So the skeleton grabs you as your armor transforms into the shape that you desire, and it begins using the massive shovel point to start digging in the sand roughly where Cham is pointing. Now, since you already discerned roughly what the location was, I'm not going to make you roll for it again. The only thing I will make you roll for is Arch. I want you to roll for the skeletons to see how efficiently they dig this hole. I'm going to say that is an intelligence roll because they are magically being held together.
Okay, I am going to do this roll, but a small addendum. That's a 10.
All right, 10. Okay, so they do a semi-adequate job. Okay, so that's also going to be combined with Arch's roll, basically. So right now, Arch, you got a 10, so Velnos, you got a 14. So basically what happens is you guys are kind of, you're rushing. You want to try and find that water as quickly as possible. So those skeletons are kind of just putting their hands everywhere on you, Velnos. You feel very violated, actually, after the whole experience is all said and done with, just because of everywhere that those skeleton fingers went into. It's relatively unpleasant for you.
Who said I thought it was unpleasant?
Let's roll to see if you find it unpleasant. So anything below a 10 or below is unpleasant. Anything above a 10 is aroused. You are violently aroused by this to the point where it is almost like you're fucking the ground, and it's good.
Today I learned about Velnos.
Yes, you learned he gets sexified from digging holes. You successfully are able to dig down far enough, and eventually, after you get probably about 20 to 30 feet down, and this is a massive hole at this point, the wooden shovel head comes down and eventually impacts a spot on the ground, and water begins to seep up through. You have struck some form of water. So you have now found that, which means that you can relay that information back to Habibi.
This is essentially how I'm going to warn them that we struck water.
You hear what sounds like an angry boar coming from Velnos as you strike water, and the water begins to flow out into the hole.
Syra comes around and says, check one for the undead brothel idea. I guess we'll have one customer.
So you guys were safely able to do that. Like I said, you can choose how you want to notify Habibi about it.
Yeah, if they don't have any idea, I'm going to detach my hand and have it scuttle back.
It's a couple days' ride.
I'll get that hand back eventually. Unless, can I use my gauntlet to give it wings?
Okay, so the way I'm going to have this work is I'm going to say yes, but you're also... So what it's going to do is it's going to hollow out the bones in the hand, and it's going to use the marrow to make like little bug wings. So it's going to give it flight, which means it'll be able to travel there a lot faster. I still want you to roll, though.
No, I'm just going to start flying.
So Cham's going to split off and go back there. So are you guys going to, now that you don't need to send your hand flying anywhere, are you guys going to head back to the Oasis, or are you going to follow him back? He's probably just going to inform him unless there's anything else that comes up.
I am gonna fucking pop off with some spell slots out here. I want to use my moving earth spells to kind of shape the ground.
How much can you move at once with that spell? Doesn't it give a weight limit or something like that?
6th level.
It's a 60 by 60 cube then. Okay.
Like it's a fucking solid building.
Okay, so yeah, so you are able to shape out a larger, basically forming almost like a crater, so that the water can fill up and expand outward up into the surface. So it fills up into basically what is a somewhat small like pond area. It's not the water itself is probably about 40 feet wide and 40 feet long. So it's just a big circle.
Yeah. I also wanted to bring up like a sort of like a overhang.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah, to give them shade and cover from anything that might be in the air.
You do that, so there's a little bit of a covering to it. It's kind of like in a semi-cavern sort of space, where there's a spot on the top that you could stand. It's kind of like a flat rock. You have now successfully done that, so now they can easily drink from it if they do show up and find it. Alright, so are you guys going to do anything else here, or are you going to head back to camp?
If fucking a jackass frog is just gonna head straight back to camp and look for more shit to do, then I'm gonna start heading that way as well.
So we'll go to you. So you land back at Habibi's camp. They're packing up now. They're getting ready to leave Spyglass Point and go to their next area. And so they are eagerly awaiting news of where and how you have found water.
Oh, Habibi-san, we have struck blue gold.
Oh, how lovely. Where is it?
I'm gonna pull out a map. I'm gonna point out the location. This is where the water is.
Good. Very good. We will go there immediately. We need to refill our canteens and our camels.
That is very wise. I am grateful that this camaraderie will continue.
Indeed. If you need us, call upon us. We owe you greatly.
I'm gonna bow, like, till we meet again, Habibi-san. I'm just walk out.
So you leave. So basically what I'm going to say is you're going to fly back and you'll meet up with the others as they're going back to camp. So all you guys are together again.